This video is going to cover a leather notebook cover created by one of the students of the leather classes that we hold here at the shop. Now it's time to get some dye on this notebook cover. We're actually using the Antique Gel by Eco-Flo. It's a tan color, but as he's putting it on, you can see how dark it is. Normally, we put some type of resist on the leather first, and it really makes the natural leather stay a natural leather color. And then the grooves and the stamping gets much darker because the gel goes down into the grooves. But I really like that tan color, so we did not put a resist on this at all. And so he's just applying the gel with a piece of sponge. He's really methodical in getting it on the entire cover. And now we're going to start wiping off that gel, the excess gel. And then once we get completely done wiping off all of the excess gel, and the longer you let it sit on there, the darker it becomes. So when you wipe it off, the leather is actually a little bit darker the longer you leave it on there. So typically we try to take it off as soon as possible. So now once we've gotten off most of it, we're going to use some super sheen to clear off any of the rub marks, and it just kind of helps smooth out the finish of the surface. You can see how it's getting just a little bit lighter. He's going over just the areas where the tooling isn't done yet. Then we'll come in and we'll hit the tooling. We just want to rub it just a little bit softer. You can see I jump in there and help really rub down and get that nice smooth tan finish on the cover itself. But yeah, we'll just do a little bit of light rub over the tooling area just to knock off the top surface of the gel, keeping the dark down in the impressions themselves. So to just get final touches, he's using a dauber and just lightly going over the top of the tooling, the stamping. We're now going to cut the inside flaps, the pockets, if you will, that the notebook cover will slide into. These will be glued to the cover that we just applied the dye to. So he's going to cut these to length, and then he'll go through and make sure it's the proper size. And we rounded the corners on the notebook, so he's going to use a punch here and cut the corners off so that it'll match up with the notebook itself. And since it's just 2 corners, he'll do the 2 corners on both flaps. The table that he's cutting on has a cutting mat. You can see the 1-inch square pattern underneath it. If you use that particular punch on the mat itself, it'll cut right through it. So we've got a small cutting board like piece of hard plastic that we use to drive the blade into instead of the cutting mat on the table. Now it's time to apply the glue. I use a barge contact cement. He's going around now and putting it on the very edge. He'll do that on both edges of the notebook. And then we will also apply the contact cement to the actual flaps themselves. Again, just around the edge. This is just to hold it in place until we can get the stitching done. We're going to use a saddle stitch on this. If you notice, again, we've got the paper towel down, kind of helps keep things from getting all over the place. That cutting mat, that yellow cutting mat, you can see there's dye stains and everything else. It does seep through the paper towels, but at least it keeps the glue from getting all over the table and getting on future projects. After applying the glue, we're going to let it sit for just a little bit, get tacky, so that when you touch it, it won't stick to your finger, and then we know that it's ready to go. Alright, with the glue set up, we are ready to go ahead and apply the interior flaps to the outside notebook cover. I told them to be very, very careful. You really only get one shot at this. That glue is so sticky and really holds well. I've seen it pull apart the leather itself before the glue bond breaks. So he's being very meticulous again with getting everything perfectly lined up. And then a neat little tool I got, it's a little roller. It's heavy, but you can use that instead of a hammer to secure the bond of the glue. I've used the hammer a number of times, but sometimes I'll leave little indentations where the hammer hits where I don't strike it flush. But that little roller, again, got probably on Amazon. Got it as a Christmas gift, I think. And yeah, it works out very, very well. So we're going to get this other flap glued on, and we'll get this finished up. This will be part 3 of the video series, and part 4 we'll get to stitching, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Stick around for the next one.